Lunch Money Lambert, Jeff Malott. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Yeah. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Hey. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation.
Kayak Bass Nation is presented by Dugout Bait and Tackle. Go to dugoutfishing.com to find everything you need for your next kayak bass fishing tournament.
Hope you enjoy the show. Jeff Malott, Lunch Money Lambert, Lego.
Also sponsored by Revo Sunglasses. Go to revo.com, use code KBN25 to save 25% off your next order. Revo, best lenses on earth. Also sponsored by Western Sun Vodka. Go to westernsundistillery.com and use the bottle finder to find a bottle near you.
Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation.
All right, what's up, everybody? Happy Monday night. Welcome to another KBN Live. Somebody said, "What's up from China Vegas?" China Vegas.
I know. I saw that. I don't know. I don't know where China Vegas is, to be honest with you.
What's going on, Ryan?
Oh, just hanging out. You know, in the old closet here, Yak Addict's inventory room.
Yak Addicts Mobile HQ.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Did you have a good weekend?
Yeah, I don't think I did anything. Me and Kenzo ran around, watched some football. Upset Alert City. It seemed like all over the place. It was pretty good time.
Yeah, my Buckeyes squeaked into the playoff, my man. They're gonna.
I would rather the Buckeyes squeak in than Bama squeak in. So yeah, there you go. You're winning.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun time, man. There was a little fishing over the weekend. The Bassmaster,
it was.
Tennessee Bass Nation kicked off, right? Douglas Lake, is that right?
No, it was Dale Hollow. Oh my gosh, yeah. That one's always real tricky. It seems like about 4 or 5 people catch them and no one else does. And I think 16 people had limits out of a 96 or 97 angler field. So pretty standard. Yeah,
and our boy, tournament director extraordinaire, AJ McWhirlers, slid into a top 10 after coming out of retirement. So good for AJ over there.
I knew he could still fish. I mean, you know, he didn't forget everything. I don't think.
Everybody thinks about him as the BOS TD, and rightfully so. But my man, when he wants to, can catch him.
The OGs know that he was a hammer back in the day. He was always up on the Kentucky Lake juice all the time.
Yeah. Yep. Wherever he went, I remember from the original TOC days, he'd be up there in that top 10 all the time. So well done, Mr. AJ. I don't know if we're going to see more of him, if that's a sign of things to come, or he was just knocking the rust off. I don't know what he was doing.
You never can tell with AJ. He's squirrely.
That's right. He's a sly fella. But yeah, if you guys saw the announcement for tonight, we've got Cole Sands, Elite Series angler for 2023 on.
Brand new Elite Series. First time.
That's right. And a Tennessee River wizard extraordinaire. So making some tips for him. From him, we got how many tournaments are going to be on? We got Gunnersville for sure, Chick for sure. Pickwick's not on a list this year, but quite a few tournaments up and down the Tennessee River.
Yeah, well, we'll have two or three good ones, plus the Bass Nation stuff too. We'll be running up and down the Tennessee River.
So you guys get your questions ready for him, and of course, Black Friday just came and went. Everybody probably rigged up their boats with new electronics and new baits and everything else, and he's been on a tear with big swim baits and A-rigs, and probably can give us some tips on some of that too. We may pick his brain on that. And I don't know. Is he a scoper, Ryan?
We will find out. Yeah, I think he plays with a scope a little bit. I like him because Cole is not afraid to bust out the fairy wand. He will get out there with some spinning gear and bust their heads in pretty good in the summertime. So I like it. Diverse.
So we're going to talk to him about what it took to make the Elite Series, number one. A little bit about that, a little bit about some of his favorite ways to fish. Just a good night talking to a true pro. So it's gonna be fun.
True pro.
We always like to shout out our sponsors, Dugout Bait and Tackle. We talked last week about the big Black Friday week they had. Is that still momentum still carrying through, Ryan? You talked to
Yeah,
them?
man. They've been busy. Jamie and Carter went down and did some exotic fishing. So I think they wanted to get their mind off of it a little bit, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I got you. Then ProGuide Lithium, new on board. Hope you guys took advantage of that Black Friday sale and powered up your new electronics, new gear, new boat, whatever you got for Black Friday. And Western Sun Vodka. We always appreciate Western Sun fueling us up as we get ready for the weekend, the tournament season, or whatever it may be. Well, we appreciate Western Sun, man. I may need it after the Georgia Ohio State game, right? I don't know.
I would just go ahead and down that before. I wouldn't even mess with that.
Yeah, I'm in full basketball mode, but I'm going to hang on for one more roll at the football, so we'll see.
We got in this. I don't know if we did a graphic for this. We may not have. We got a giveaway from Dugout Bait and Tackle. Like and share tonight. Some umbrella rigs. So one umbrella rig from each brand: Hog Farmer, Picasso, and Diamond Baits, one of Cole's sponsors.
Oh, well, I need to get those graphics up. We'll get them up before the show's out, and I'll throw them on there. Where did he send those?
You remember that we were talking about Jackson's because they're giving away with the purchase of a Jackson Coosa X. They're giving away a Bending Branches paddle. So anybody that needs a new paddle, if you get the paddle, you get a Jackson Coosa X with it. So go down there, pay for the Coosa X. They'll throw in a paddle with it. You'll be fine.
Yeah, man. I'm tripping. How could I slip on all that, Ryan? What's wrong with me?
It's okay. I didn't check in on it. It's my fault. I know, you got a lot going on. You're getting older by the minute.
I am a grandfather. Appreciate you, right? I appreciate you recognizing that. But never fear. Look at there. There's the graphic. I got it.
There it is.
I got it while I'm turning my mouth.
Grandfather.
Free Bending Branches paddle with purchase. That's a hell of a deal.
Yeah, and you can look at it either way. You can pay, whatever, $1,700 for the boat and get a free paddle, or vice versa.
There you go. And then Picasso, Hard Front. What are we doing for the giveaway? How are we going to do it, Ryan? Like and share?
We'll do our random draw. Yeah, like and share.
Like and share, or the random name generator. Are we doing one from each of those people?
No, they get all three.
They get all three. Wow.
I think so. I don't know, man. What do you want to do? It's our show.
I think we should do double. We'll do a like and share, but then you're also going to have to comment, and we'll do a comment.
Deal. All right.
Yeah.
All three.
You got to like and share, comment. We'll give you the magic word towards the second half of the show, and I'll do that random name generator deal where we pull somebody out of the deal. That's fun. That's fun.
Awesome.
There we go. Good stuff from Dugout and those bait companies we talked about. The triple dip of A-rigs.
Is there anything? Oh, congrats on Team USA in the Pan Am series match down there against Mexico. They won gold, and I guess by default Mexico won silver. So good job. Way to fend them off.
There we go. I'm not going to say anything about any of it.
I like it.
Those are my friends that were down there.
I know. I'm congratulating them. I'm very glad they hopefully made it back out of Mexico.
Yeah,
alive.
I did see that G caught like almost 25-incher in the tournament, which was pretty dang impressive.
I'm not even shocked by that at all. I feel like if anybody was going to do it, it'd be that guy.
What do you think about that whole USA kayak fishing thing, man? I don't know what to make of it. It's it comes out of nowhere, and then they've had a couple championships here in the last few months, and it's like, are they? Where's that coming from?
Well, you remember the first one was like just completely out of thin air, invitational, no qualification deal. Threw it together in Cookeville, had a parade with people riding in the beds of trucks with tens of people on the side of a street. I don't think that the concept is bad. I do think the execution could be so much better. Like, you're trying to make it this Olympic sport, and to me, there's no showmanship, there's no hype, you saw the pictures and content and stuff that was put out. Like, they can do better. Like, step it up. If you're going to do it right. That's my opinion for what it's worth.
Maybe we'll have a couple of angles. Maybe, have K-Fish or G or Scotch, somebody that was down there, and kind of give us their thoughts on the whole thing. Because
Jamie Broad was down there with the Eric Jackson shirt on. I saw that.
Yeah, we could have one of them on and have them kind of break down what they thought of it and where they think it needs to go, because I don't know anything about it. It just kind of showed up on my timeline, and there it was. And, Guillermo's winning tournaments. That's all I know. He's winning more.
Same old.
So good stuff down there, man. Pan Am games. Other than that, man, we're kind of winding down the new year. I've got the data for the power rankings coming together. We'll be having that come out in a few weeks. So I know everybody's on pins and needles waiting to argue about that. But with that said, what do you say? What you want to get Cole in here?
Let's
talk
do
a
that.
little.
Yeah.
Talk a little actual pro fishing.
Yeah. Let's hear from somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, there we go.
Enough of these amateurs,
Yeah, Elite Series angler, Cole Sands. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are y'all doing?
Doing well, man. Has it sank in? How has your life changed since you got this title?
It's just been busy. I'm still doing my guide service that I do on Lake Chickamauga, so I'm busy doing that. Usually 3 to 5, 6 days a week, just depending on the week. And then been working like crazy trying to get some sponsorship money rounded up for next year. And I don't think it'll really sink in until I'm probably driving to the first tournament. I think that's when it's really going to hit me. But as far as the emotions of making it and all of that hit me at the very last open when I weighed in and when I knew I made it. That's when that part hit me. But as far as the I'm an Elite Series pro part, I think that'll really hit me when I'm driving to the first tournament.
Do you have to wear like a sport coat with your name embroidered in it or anything?
I mean, we got to wear our jerseys. I don't know about the sport coat.
Close enough. Whatever. We'll work on it. So for the people that don't know who you are and kind of how you got to where you're at, kind of give us a brief rundown. Like, you're from the Cleveland area, not too far outside of Chickamauga, but tell us about how you got started in competitive fishing and then kind of the stepping stones that you've taken to get to the Elite Series.
Yeah. So I'll start actually pretty much at the beginning. So I'm originally from Fairbanks, Alaska. So I grew up. My dad had me in the outdoors when I was super young, so I fell in love with hunting, fishing, anything like that. And then when we moved to Tennessee, I was 10 years old, and I hated it to start with. We moved in a subdivision. I couldn't go outside to shoot stuff, and didn't really know anything about bass fishing yet. But I got involved with a junior bass club and just absolutely fell in love with the sport. Started reading every magazine article, watching every episode of anything I could find, just trying to get better. And then in high school, I was lucky enough to get a small aluminum boat and got a lot of time in the water, and there's nothing that replaces that. Fished throughout high school. I was very fortunate to get a fishing scholarship to go to Bryan College, which is in Dayton, Tennessee. And if any of y'all know where that's at, it's seriously like a stone's throw from the lake. So I spent every day just about after class, I'd make sure to get my work done first, but I spent a lot of time on Chickamauga just trying to get better, and had a very successful college career. I was very fortunate and blessed to do good in some events, and ended up winning the national championship in 2020. That was pretty awesome. And then just kind of really took every step. It was high school fishing, then college fishing, and the next step after that's the Opens. And thankfully, through college fishing, I was able to travel around and do a lot of that on the school's dime and get a lot of that experience built up. So when I entered the Opens, I felt like I was ready, probably a lot more ready than some other people maybe. And last year, I fished just the Southern Opens because I was still finishing up my college degree. And then this year, I fished all 9 and made it through the overall division and finished 3rd place in the AOI race.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. That's the dream. I feel like that's the natural progression, when people talk about what bass is and, why that organization kind of cultivates people growing into pros. I think that's a prime example.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I took definitely every stepping stone that they had to get to where I'm at.
What do you think about the move they made this year? You kind of came in under the wire, I guess. Did you qualify through the Southern Division? You didn't do the overall qualify for the elites this year, changing to the all 9.
No, yeah. This year I made it through fishing all 9. So for me, it was last year I fished just the Southerns, and I almost made it, but I bombed one of them. And if you're fishing just a division, you can't bomb it. So yeah, with the change, there's a lot of people that aren't too happy with it, but at the same time, it's like, if you're going to make that commitment to be in the Elite Series, I feel like you almost have to, to really see if you're worthy, you need to fish all 9 of them, because I feel like anybody can go out there and have 2 or 3 good tournaments, especially if they're bodies of water you're familiar with.
Agree with that for sure. So, you went into guiding. When did you start your guide business? How long have you been running that on Chick?
I started at January of 2021, so approaching 2 years.
And you're pretty busy year round. I mean, I feel like anytime I'm on the lake, I always see you out there fishing. Like whether I'm pre-fishing in a tournament, whatever, you're always out on the water. How successful has that been? I mean, as far as what you expected versus kind of the results that you've gotten from it.
Yeah, so man, I have been extremely blessed to stay booked up. That's one thing I haven't had to worry about, which I've had a lot of really good clients and got to meet some awesome people. So I've been very thankful for that because that is something that is a concern. If you are guiding, you need to have the clientele there. So that part of it's been awesome. I've stayed really booked up, and just kind of through my exposure through college fishing and now making the Elite Series, I feel like that's really helped. And then as far as the guide part of it goes, I'd say I love it about 95% of the time. You get a few clients that are hard to work with. I really haven't had too many like that. Most of my clients have been really awesome. But it's fishing, and it's the pressure you feel when you're in a tournament and you're not catching them. It's
every time this year. Yeah. Every single tournament, I feel like.
You feel about 3 times as bad when you got somebody out there that's paying, good money to go out there fishing with you. And so it's definitely it's a lot more stressful than you would think it might be when the fish aren't biting. But besides that, if you get somebody out there that catch the personal best, or they have an awesome day on the water, that's the rewarding side of it.
How are you going to work? I mean, let's look forward to next year. What's your schedule going to look like? Are you still going to try to keep a few weeks open for guiding, or how are you going to, structure your life there?
Yeah, no, I'm still guiding. It won't be quite as much. But this year I fished all 9 of the opens, and there's 9 Elite Series events. So it's pretty much the same schedule, honestly. So I think this past year I ran about 160 guide trips in 2022. Next year I'll probably run more like 100. 90 or 100. It won't be as much, just because I do really want to focus on the Elite Series and just, being a consistent angler and, hopefully making a career out of it, because it's so hard to get there that once you get there, you definitely don't want to get kicked out.
That's always a good goal, I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
We got a lot of questions and comments. I'm going to save them for the second part of the show. Describe your I guess we'll call it the grind to make it through the Elite Series, because we've talked on this show a bunch of times about kayak fishing, our little niche of the sport here, eventually trying to create a pro segment or pro series within it. Right now, everything's just opens. We've got some opens from several different organizations, but to make that commitment to become a professional, what did that take from you from a mindset perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I've wanted to do this professional bass fishing ever since I really got into it at probably about 11 years old. And, as I progressed and gotten older, I've kind of realized that, I can do this if I really put my mind to it. And it's definitely going to have some things go my way. But I told myself once I graduated college, I got to give myself 2 years fishing all 9 of them to really, at least 2 years to really not regret not giving it a shot. And so I pretty much focused everything I've done just solely into making it. And that's a big reason I started my guide service. It allowed me to have more time in the water, but mainly it allowed me to set my own schedule and fish these opens. And it's a huge time commitment. And them guys that fish the opens, man, they're good. I mean, they're extremely good. And thankfully through fishing all 9 this year, I had a really bad tournament at Cherokee, the one I was supposed to do good at. But it's about being consistent over the long haul. And that's, about halfway through the season, I was sitting probably 7th or 8th place, and I knew I had to really grind the last 4 tournaments. And I just, you focus on every one and do all your preparation, but some things still have to go your way when you're on the water. And it just seemed like, things really went my way in the last 4 tournaments.
It seems like the fish don't know when you're supposed to do good. Nobody told them. They only told you.
Yeah, no, it's funny looking back at I fished 9 opens this year and 3 opens last year, and my 2 worst finishes were the Harris chain, which that's where we won the national championship there in college. Expecting to do great in that, and then Cherokee this year, which I've won tournaments there in the past, and it's kind of funny. I think you get these preconceived notions about how you're supposed to catch them and what the fish are supposed to be doing, and you get a little bit of a clue, and it just completely steers you in the wrong direction. And yeah, the fish definitely have a mind of their own.
Got a comment stacking up. Look, go ahead and
do it.
Get to some of these. Levi Schneider started off. He said, I got to ask him about throwing a lipless. He's a magician with one. That's kind of a vague question, but can you throw a few tips out there to the folks watching about lipless crankbaits and the versatility that bait has?
Yeah, I can talk about that for probably the next hour, but
take off.
So yeah, there's a few things. I'll run through my setup real quick, but almost always go with a 16-pound Yozuri T7 fluorocarbon. I'm a fluorocarbon guy when it comes to lipless. The rod I use is critical. That's probably one of the biggest things. It's a 7.2 medium heavy Witch Doctor Tackle Sermon Series rod. And what's cool about it, it's half glass and half graphite. And the thing with a rattle trap, I pretty much exclusively yo-yo it. So I'm ripping it up, falling it down to the bottom, ripping it up. And it's just looking like a fleeing crawfish or a fleeing shad. And with that rod, it allows me on Chickamauga and Gunnersville and a lot of these lakes around here, you got a lot of grass. And if you use an exclusively glass rod, you're going to get hung in that grass and you don't have enough strength to rip it out. But, you want that glass to fight the fish. So with that rod, I have the strength of the graphite to rip it out. And then I have the tip of the glass to really fight the fish, because you're going to lose fish on a rattle trap. That's just part of it. But you're going to lose a whole lot less. But the biggest thing is figuring out the retrieve. As long as, you need to have the right equipment, but a lot of times, like I said, I'm yo-yoing it. There's some days you need to burn it, maybe some of the warmer days in March. I've caught them dragging it, but figuring out that cadence is really the biggest thing when it comes to that rattle trap.
I like it. Another question. This one's from YouTube. Swimbait on a Prairie is his name. He said, how many tournaments did you rely on forward-facing sonar during the opens this last year?
I'm trying to think. We fished 9 tournaments. Lake Oneida, I definitely caught a few smallmouth using it with a drop shot. Not as many as you'd think. That was more of a grass lake, and I was just kind of knew where the bare spots were. And I was throwing a pawpaw over them and punching, flipping some thick grass for largemouth. But it's hard to say, because Panoptics is such a useful tool, because even when I'm grass fishing, I'm using it to follow grass lines. And I pretty much always have it on. I might not be exclusively using it to pick off fish, but I'm using it to, target certain pieces of structure. But Lake Hartwell, that was, I'm sure y'all fished it. It's a spotted bass lake. I caught all 10 of my fish. I watched every one of them eat it. I was catching them on a drop shot. You had to make very precise casts, had to hit them on the head. And then at Sam Rayburn, I had a deep spot that I was catching them on a drop shot and a big 7+ hardcore crankbait. And I was using it just to line up with them and make a really good cast. But besides that, Ross Barnett, I came in 4th place. I was using my motor as a power pole pretty much. I was so shallow. So definitely, I'd say probably 2 or 3 tournaments. Besides that, I was just fishing off instinct and fishing what looked good.
I'm going to go back. Excuse me. Back to the rattle trap. Somebody asked hooks on that rattle trap.
Poor Jeff. You need some Western Sun, buddy.
Mm-hmm. Hooks, triple grip or round bend?
So one of my sponsors is Yozuri, and I truly believe that Yozuri Rattling Vibe is the best trap ever made. And it's because when it falls, it quivers. And usually I'll start with the stock hooks, and whether I switch to triple grip or not depends on how the fish are eating it. If I'm catching a bunch of fish on it, the fish are eating it pretty good, I'll usually go to a triple grip, just because when I hook them, I can usually kind of horse them in. Once I hook them on triple grip, they usually don't come off. But if I'm having a lot of fish slap at that rattle trap, I use just the normal open, I guess round bend. I don't know what you'd call them even. I use just the standard treble hook, because I feel like if they're slapping at it, you're going to hook some. They might be barely hooked, but that might be all you get at them.
You're getting the
technical,
juice tonight.
Very, very technical.
Yeah, we're getting the juice. This is just a comment, not a question. Brian Batka. I'm assuming he meant Cole, not Cal, but Cole is not just a good fisherman; he's a good dude too. There we go. We agree.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
That's why we had him on here, Brian. We wouldn't have a bad dude on this show.
No.
Are you kidding me?
And from our buddy Armando over on YouTube, he said, "What was the first bait that gave you confidence? What's your confidence bait?"
Yeah, my first bait that gave me confidence when I first started out was probably a little shaky head with a Zoom Ultra Vibe speed worm on the back. But as I progress now, man, my number one confidence bait, I mean, it depends on the year. This time of year, I'm going to go with a rattle trap, but for the other 9 months of the year, besides the winter and spring, I'm going to go with a drop shot. I throw a drop shot a lot, and if I'm struggling, I'm taking that spinning rod out.
That was going to be my question. If the day has gone to hell and you got to get a bite, what are you pulling out? It's a drop shot, huh?
Yeah, it's a drop shot from about end of March through about October. It's going to be a drop shot.
Turns out they eat it. If you don't know, go subscribe to Cole's YouTube channel. He does fishing reports, like Chickamauga fishing reports, and you will see the drop shot quite a bit through those summer months, especially. And turns out they still catch big fish. They don't care if it's a tiny little bait or not.
A lot of big uns over there on Cole's channel. I did a little pre-show research and watched some of those videos, and I was the one with the big 8-inch mag draft, I think it was, where you caught damn near 40 pounds. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, that was a special day in the water. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, unbelievable.
This time of year, so a rattle trap, obviously you've talked about. What's your next peg down on the favorites list for cold water wintertime?
I mean, you got to go with an Alabama rig. It's something I'm not allowed to throw in Bassmaster, but just if you're out there having a good time, or if you're allowed to throw it in your tournament, there's not many wintertime baits that are more efficient or productive than an Alabama rig. So that's one you got to go with, because it imitates a ball of bait better than anything else does, and it catches suspended fish better than any other bait will. And
giants too. I mean, if you especially you talk about Chickamauga wintertime fishing, like you can put some big bags together, especially if you get on the right point, the right rock pile with an Alabama rig, for sure.
Somebody actually asked about that. Brian, once again, have you tried the Hog Farmer Mini A rig?
I've actually seen it. One of my sponsors is Diamond Baits, and they make a 3.5-inch. It's pretty similar Alabama rig. I haven't tried the Hog Farmer one yet. I'm sure it's a great one, but that 3.5-inch Diamond Baits is my go-to right now. So I haven't had to try anything else.
And we're giving away a Diamond Baits A rig tonight. So if you haven't seen one, somebody's going to get one put in their hand here shortly.
That's right. If you guys weren't here right when the show started, because a few more people have logged on, and we're doing a like and share giveaway, and we're going to give you a magic word towards the end of the show to pick the winner of the triple stack of A rigs here in a little bit. Let me get back to the comments. There's another question from Facebook. What's more important, fishing multiple different types of water, or fishing a body of water you're comfortable on and learning different techniques?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question, and I think it depends on the body of water you're on. If you take a lake like Chickamauga, for example, man, there's so many different ways to catch them out there and get good. And I think that's why you see a lot of good fishermen come from that East Tennessee area. The Andy Morgans, the Wesley Straters, Michael Neals. It's because you take Lake Chickamauga, you got the grass, you got ledges, you got bed fishing, you got the Hiwassee River, which has no grass, and it's kind of like a dirty water river system. You got the current in the tail race, catching smallmouth. So I think it just depends. If your body of water is versatile, or you can get good at different things, I think that's really good. But if you're fishing one place where it's grass year round and that's about it, maybe venture out to some clear, deep spotted bass lakes, or it just, I'm gonna say it depends on where you're at.
Great answer. Another question from Facebook. We got a lot of questions rolling in. We got a pro in the house. They're going to ask questions. They want the juice. Keaton asked, during this time of year, what do you do to target big fish and how do you catch them? For someone that doesn't have a lot of electronics, what kind of info or tips can you give with someone with just some down scan technology?
Yeah, I mean, I think, if you don't have Panoptics or anything like that, something you can really do to target big fish. And one thing to know, if you're targeting big fish this time of year, you're not exactly targeting a lot of bites. That is one thing I'll say. If I was going out there and I didn't have, if I just had down scan, which that's what I had for a lot of my life. I've only had Panoptics for about a year and a half. Just use your eyes. You can tell how deep it is with down scan. If one of the biggest things I like to fish are those transition areas right now where it's the last little bit of deep water in the creeks before it gets shallow. And so you're looking at the backs of creeks where it's just flat. Go to that first steep bank. Throw an Alabama rig or a jerkbait down that first steep bank. If it's a warm day like today wasn't a warm day, but it was a low pressure rainy day. Just pick up a rattle trap and cover water. That's another good thing to do. But just this time of year, the fish on the colder days, the cold front weeks, they're going to back out a little bit to those transition banks, that 3 to 10 foot of water, 3 to 12 foot of water. If you get a couple warm days or some low pressure days, they're going to scoot into those flat areas and feed. So pay attention to that, and then pay attention to the wildlife. A big thing right now is if you're seeing seagulls dive, they're eating bait fish. The bass are eating bait fish. The bass are probably going to be somewhere in that area. So pay attention to that. The blue herons that are on the bank, those are professional fishermen. So definitely pay attention to them. And but yeah, if you don't have a whole lot of electronics, just read the banks. Any intersection areas, points going into creeks, that's a great thing to do in the wintertime. One of my favorite patterns. So that's what I do.
And focus in on that range he gives you. 3 feet's at the beginning of it. So don't think just because it's cold and the water's cold that those fish are not going to still be relating to shallow water. They're still pushing bait up, especially I love fishing like rocky banks, chunk rock, bluff walls, right up against the bank. You can a lot of times, get a pretty good bite or two off that.
We got somebody over on the shores of Norfolk. I'm down with that. He's over by Bull Shoals, Ryan. The lake I talk about too much on here for you.
I wish you would have a tournament on Bull Shoals so you would stop talking about it, because I feel like this is another Ouachita or Dardanelle situation where
it is. It's all set up. It's fool's gold.
Where you just trick us into coming out there and you're like, there used to be fish here.
Here's the bottom line. I just don't want to drive that far, Ryan. That's the bottom.
That's exactly the truth right there.
That's the bottom line.
Oh man. What outside of Chickamauga, give us your top three favorite bodies of water. It can be river systems or lakes to fish a tournament
on. It's funny you say that. One of the most unbelievable couple days of fishing I had was on Bull Shoals. Now this was third week in April, and I think every fish on the lake, when we were there, I think every fish on the lake was on the bank, and we absolutely murdered them on a 5-inch line through swim bait and a 6-inch mag draft. And I mean, it was ridiculous the amount of giants we saw. Besides that, the Harris Chain of Lakes, it's got a special place in my heart. And then probably Gunnersville's in the mix, and then I like Hartwell a lot. Probably got to go with Hartwell. Just there's so many fish in that lake, and I really need to get down and fish Lanier where the spotted bass get really big. I've never fished it, but I like Hartwell a lot.
We've got Hartwell coming up on some schedule this next year, I do believe, for a Bassmaster Kayak Series event. Is the rumor we'll be going to Hartwell in the spring, so hopefully it'll show out. Put on a nice little clinic for us.
We've got a YouTube comment. He has asked this twice. His profile picture looks like a grown man, but he says he's a 14-year-old kid looking for a spinning reel.
Maybe his dad put it there for safety.
I'm going to put the benefit of the doubt and say, if this kid, we got a kid, they are the future of our sport. good way to plug sponsors, I guess.
Very professional looking young man.
Yeah, plug sponsor. If you had to hook a kid up with a solid beginner rig from one of your sponsors, Cole, what would you say?
Yeah, so my sponsor, it's Wish Dr. Tackle rods. I mean, I'll be honest, they're more of a high end rod. You need to compare it to more like a G Loomis, so that might not be the best choice for a kid first starting out.
If you love your kid,
his dad looked like
you
a lawyer.
Love your kid, you would get him that rod.
Yeah, his dad looked like a lawyer on the picture. So
if you want to get him the top end best rod you can get, that's the rod you want. But besides that, if you're looking for one, probably about $100 is about what you can get a spinning combo for. And what I use for some of my client setups. One that I really like, Jordan Lee, it's the Abu Garcia combo. It's a spinning setup, 7 foot. I don't even know the model or anything like that. But it's pretty good. Luz makes a pretty good one for around $100 as well. I think it's the Mach series maybe. So I'd probably go with one of those.
There you go. Good stuff. Dugout Bait and Tackle has some of that stuff. You can go over to dugoutfishing.com and it's fine. Look at there. Sponsor plug. Josh Evans asked you about the traps. He said, do you prefer the Yozuri traps over the old Excalibur XRK50s?
Yeah, 10 to 1. Now I love that Excalibur. I still got some of the original ones. And one thing about trap fishing is certain days, certain traps work better. And that's just the truth of it. But if you go side by side in a swimming pool and watch how they fall, I think that Yozuri beats it almost every time. And I mean, on the boat, when I'm with my clients, we're all throwing, usually I have all of us throwing a different color or, sometimes a different brand and stuff just to see, because, I'm constantly learning. And that Yozuri is hard to beat.
All right, let's see. We got some more here. Somebody had an A-rig question from YouTube, Shane Carnahan. What's the deepest to throw an A-rig? If the smallmouth are in 30 to 70 feet of water temps in the 30s, is that too deep? What's the deepest you would throw one?
I've never thrown one that deep, but I've thrown them in 20 and 25. And just, the thing with an A-rig, you just upsize the heads a little bit and you could get it down there, probably no problem. So, I would absolutely throw it that deep if that's where the fish are. And that's the right water. That's the right water temp too.
And keep in mind where the fish are holding though. They're looking up. They're feeding on bait balls above them too. So just because they're in that deep of water doesn't need to, be where you're fishing necessarily. Yeah.
And you're going to the Elite Series now. You just fish the opens. Why is the A-rig still illegal? With live scope and everything that's out there, why don't they just take the chains off and say, hey, throw the rig if you want to? Why is it still illegal on the Elite Series or MLF or whatever?
I honestly don't have any idea. When it first came out, it was an unfair advantage. Like, I'll say that you could go down any random bank and go catch 20 pounds, and it wasn't. There was nothing like it. Now at this point, yeah, it has its days when it's definitely the best bait, but a lot of days it's not. Like right now we're catching really good on a single swim bait, almost even better than an A-rig. Now there's certain places it works great. And, but I don't know. It's kind of like, why can you only throw 3 hooks in Tennessee instead of 5 on an Alabama rig? I think that's a stupid rule. I don't see how it makes a difference, but I don't know. I think at this point the fish have gotten used to it enough that they could bring it back. And I don't think there would be a whole lot of people who'd raise a whole lot of cane about it, but
I don't think after forward-facing sonar has came on the scene that the A-rig is even in the same ballpark when you talk about, the advantage that it's brought to the sport. Like you said, A-rig was good for a period of time, certain conditions and whatnot, but forward-facing sonar has made such a huge, impact on money winning, TV coverage, bait design. Like, it's literally shifted the entire market. I think that's probably a much bigger concern than a few swim baits strung together.
Billy Bowden's worried about you, Ryan. He said he hasn't seen this background before. Hold up 2 fingers if you're okay.
Billy, I've probably done half our podcast from here, pal, or more. I'm here more than I'm at home.
Yeah. Billy's just had too many bush lattes.
Billy is on fire in the comments. I will say, if anybody can turn his internet off, I appreciate it.
He's just down the road here. It could happen. It could happen at any moment.
I know, Jeff. Hint.
Go flaring out at any moment.
Throw Joe Kirk's question up there.
Where's his at? What's next?
Yeah. What's What's next, Joe? What's next? What do you want to know? Like technology wise, is that what you're asking? I think it is. What do you think is the next big evolutionary step in the sport, Cole?
I really don't know. I think Panoptics was such a big leap that somebody's going to have to do something pretty extraordinary to top that. So I don't really know. I think technology is going to keep getting better and better. And, there'll be
Bluetooth cameras on swim bait heads so you can see which fish you're swimming your bait at.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we might be wearing headsets so we don't get we call
Oculus.
It
you don't have to leave your house. You just catch them from your living room.
I don't know. I really have no idea.
Hey, for real, the new Lowrance live imaging. Have y'all seen the screenshots of that? That's pretty wild. You get simultaneous perspective mode and forward facing live, which is pretty impressive.
In my real job, we just started carrying these holographic glasses that are just like reading glasses that you can see through, but you can plug it into any, source. I bet money you could display, funny you say that. I bet you could display your live scope screen on those holographic glasses so you can watch as you're casting and then hit the button and you got your live scope. I'm on that. Thank you, Cole.
All I heard just
I'm gonna cut you in on that one. I'm gonna sponsor you once this deal goes through.
All I heard there is Ryan Lambert is selling Tony Stark tech. That's what Ryan Lambert is doing.
I'm trying to, among other things.
Steve Fields got a question for Cole. He always every bass boat pro that we've had on here gets the same question. So Steve was the man to ask it tonight. Have you done any kayak fishing, or could we see you in the future at an event in your spare time?
Yeah, growing up, I definitely did some pond hopping and some kayaks, and I enjoyed that a lot. Would I ever do it in the future in a trail? Maybe. I definitely want to say I wouldn't if I had the time to do it, and I definitely like the thought process behind it, and not having to haul a boat, and just being able to put in your kayak and save some gas money and
motor out to the same spots you're fishing anyway.
Yeah.
You win some gas money.
Some sneaky areas too. So I can see myself doing it in the future.
Yeah,
there you go, Steve.
Sign him gas money.
Send him a Hobie. Send him a Hobie.
There we go. Levi Schneider, another one for you. Besides the rattling vibe, what's your next favorite Uzuri bait that you don't leave home without? And he said, "What's up with that 3DB crawl? It's weird looking."
I don't know about that 3DB crawl. I haven't thrown it much, but probably the next one. They make a really good topwater bait. Now, Yozuri, it's Yozuri and Hardcore. It's the same company pretty much, so I'll throw Hardcore in there. Hardcore makes a popper that is as good as they get. A lot of people pay a lot of money for some Ricos or Yellow Magic poppers, and that Hardcore popper, I think it retails for like $10. That's the best popper I've ever used. So I definitely have to throw that one in there.
How long have you been working with Yozuri and Hardcore?
This is my second year. Next year will be my third year.
Gotcha. You liking it? You get to do product development, that kind of thing with them yet?
Yeah, a little bit. And, I think I'll get to do a lot more now that I'm kind of taking the next step. But man, they've been a great company to work with. And if you look at the stuff they come out with in the past 2 years, they're making a lot of big steps. And really all their stuff's pretty good. They make good square bills. Their jerk bait's really good. Their pencil poppers now, their topwater series is really good. So it's come a long way. And then their fishing line that they came out with a new fluorocarbon last year, which was their T7 fluorocarbon. And man, that stuff's awesome. Their old stuff was all right. It would last maybe a couple months, but that new stuff, I still got some of that line on from like my first tournament in February. And I'll change it if I need to, but I can't break it. So, and you can usually tell if it starts kinking up, it needs to be changed. But
I got some 2.5-year-old line on my reels right now. Yeah, I usually handle that myself. I'll backlash a few times, and that lets me know that I only have a cast left on my reel.
Right.
That's awesome. Another YouTube question. It is a Q&A kind of night around here, Ryan.
I knew it was going to be. He knows too much. He knows too many things.
55 Dag on YouTube. He said, "What swim bait trailer do you use on your A-rigs? Size, color, etc."
It depends on the time of year, which is kind of if I start throwing, I usually start throwing an A-rig in September. So September through about now, I'm usually throwing smaller swim baits. I really like the Fishco. It's their OG swimmer, the 3-inch. Then they make a slim swimmer, which is a 3 1/4 inch. Just natural colors, Tennessee shad, blue gizzard. Both of those are really good colors. And then as the winter progresses, it seems like the fish kind of get on bigger bait. They get more on some gizzard shad and stuff. So I'll either upsize to more their 3.5-inch stuff or 3.8-inch stuff, or I'll even go to like a 4.5, 5-inch true bass. Put like a real big swim bait on there. And usually I do that more like January, February, March. And a lot of it depends on what part of the lake I'm fishing as well. If I'm fishing the lower half of Lake Chickamauga, they've been on little bait the past few years really bad. But if I'm fishing from like Saudi Creek North, it seems like you can get away with that little bit bigger profile.
How do you feel about glide baits? Big hard baits.
I love throwing one. I don't get to throw it a ton because with clients, I'm usually just trying to put a lot of fish in the boat, and it's definitely a feast or famine type deal. And I've had a few unbelievable days on it, but I've also, you have them days where you see 20 giants follow it and never catch the first fish. So it's something I'll keep in my arsenal. Now in like March, there's a time and place when the water's still down and you get them warm days in March and the fish are staged, ready to go shallow, but the water's just too low for them to do it. I've had some magical days on a glide bait, but they're very few and far between.
Carl in that chick tournament this spring, I mean, he wrecked them pretty good on that pattern. And one of our buddies was the marshal in his boat, and he called like after he got out of the boat, and he's like, "You're not going to believe what he just did today." And I was like, "What happened?" He's like, he was like just throwing this big giant glide bait like right up on the bank, working it out, next to these laydowns and stuff. He's like, they were monsters just coming up crushing it in a very familiar little slough. It looked like there.
Robert Tinker asked about that line. Is that Yozuri main line? Is that what that's called?
No, it's Yozuri T7.
Yozuri T7. There you go, Robert.
Yep.
Bobby. He's Bobby on Facebook, Robert on YouTube. I can't keep him straight. Jim asked on YouTube, once you make the elites, what do you got to do to stay each year? Are they on that 2-year program now? Or what are they running now on the elites?
Yeah, it's you're guaranteed 2 years, and then after 2 years, if you're in the bottom 10%, you can get kicked out.
There you go. You like that setup better? Did it used to be a year to year, or was it always 2 years?
I don't even know. I think it used to be year to year. I like the 2-year thing better because I think anybody can have a bad year, and I think 2 years gives you a chance to kind of redeem yourself, and so I like it.
All right. Well, I think especially just coming into it, like you said, some people may have fished their way onto the elite program in a different manner, but it may take that first year just to getting adjusted to fishing maybe northern bodies of water, for instance, or for the northern guys coming down south fishing a lot of grass, shallow water stuff. So I think if you just did 1 year, it's kind of biased. Like, well, sorry, man, you should have fished more out of the backyard on that one.
Yeah, and it sounds like you fished all 9 by choice this last year and made it in, but forcing folks to have to fish all 9 will prepare them better, wouldn't you say, to make that transition if and when they do make it?
Yeah, I definitely think it will, and that's I think that's the big reason why they did it is because one of my weak points is definitely going to be the northern swing next year, but you never know where you're going to do good at. It seems like so. But yeah, I think that 9 open format where everybody's got to fish them, I think that'll really equip the anglers who qualify from here on out.
And a lot of pros made that switch over from MLF to the opens for next year to, hopefully fish their way back in to the elites, I assume is their goal. I think you're seeing kind of a demographic shift go on the pro side overall.
Yeah, you're definitely seeing that. I think, and the big reason I went with Bassmaster instead of MLF, I just think it's kind of the most prestigious league. It's been around the longest, and I feel like there's definitely a future on that side, which, no offense to the MLF side. I fished a lot of MLF tournaments throughout college, and, I fished some BFLs and stuff, and I really enjoyed that. But I just think, Bassmaster is going to be here to stay for a long time.
Well, when you say I want a classic, that carries a lot of weight. When you say I want a red crest, it sounds like you have a small bird in your pocket. So I think that probably matters. I don't and granted MLF is very young compared to Bassmasters. I think MLF's accessibility as far as coverage and the app and that kind of stuff, I definitely think they got that part right. I think there's a lot of changes going on in the format and how they want to do it, and who's sponsoring what, that kind of stuff. I think that may be a lot for people to take in, because people are conditioned to bass fishing. You come in, you got a bag full of 5 big fish, you hold them up, wave them around, and that's what the tournament is, so to speak. That brings me to another point. I've talked to Dennis Tumlin about this, which is also one of your sponsors. What do you think about the summertime tournaments, the number of tournaments that are held on Chickamauga during the heat of the summer, and you have all these giant dead fish floating after tournaments? I kind of think maybe do a catch weigh release or catch photo release or something during the heat of the summer, just to get those fish back in the water and hopefully increase the survival rate. Because I think we're killing a lot of big spawning fish on Chick, and the number of tournaments that we have definitely is not helping anything.
Yeah, no, it's definitely hurt it some. That's one of the biggest things that I've seen is we still have a lot of big ones out there, a lot of good fish, but there's been a decline in the number of 4 and 5 pounders that there used to be. And I would be completely for going to like what Bassmaster does at Texas Fest, or where they just weigh them, write it down, and they tally their best 5 at the end of the day. Yeah. So I think that could definitely be good for the longevity of the sport, and I'd support that 100%.
And I don't think it matters all year round, but definitely in those critical, low oxygen months, like I think that's definitely in the best interest of a fishery. I think while the Asian carp definitely knocked Kentucky Lake way back, I think the number of tournaments that they had on Kentucky Lake and the number of big fish being brought to the scales when people are catching, 25, 30-pound bags during the summer on those ledges, I think that, that killed off a lot of those big spawning fish.
We're going to do some rapid fire questions, if that's all right with you, Cole, because they keep coming in, and we don't want to keep you all night long, but we want to try to get to everybody's too. Facebook, skirt or a toad on a buzzbait?
I like a toad or a grub or something like that. I'm not a big skirt guy.
There we go. Favorite bait for Gunnersville in March?
That's either a Yozuri Rattling Vibe or a chatterbait. I like a chatterbait a lot on Gunner.
We got a Gunnersville tournament in March, so don't tell them too much shit.
Okay, I got it. From YouTube, what technique do you think you need to work on before your first tournament on the Elites?
So the first tournament's at Okeechobee, which I feel pretty comfortable around grass, but definitely if I wanted to tune up my skills, just get that big flipping stick in my hand and get back in the groove of it.
From over on YouTube, Max Lee, when do you like a blade bait over a rattle trap? It's more of a detail, I guess.
I almost always throw a rattle trap. Now I will have a blade bait tied on once the water gets below like 48. It's just my best days with a blade bait have been after I wrecked a school with a rattle trap and then picked up a blade bait and caught a few more big ones, just because they get smart to it. That's my success with a blade bait. But besides that, I'm picking up a rattle trap most of the time.
This isn't really a rapid fire question. It's a short question, but it'll take a little longer to answer maybe. Steve Fields asked, how much do you need to bankroll the Elites? And that kind of leads into a question of, just because you made the Elites, did the streets flow with milk and honey from a sponsor perspective, or did you have to go out and start hustling once you made it to find the support to fish the Elites?
Yeah, no, so it's definitely been well, the thing with the Opens, the season doesn't end till end of October. And I mean, money's due pretty soon, and I've already had to pay some, but no, it definitely doesn't just flow in like milk and honey by any means. Thankfully, some of the sponsors that I've had this past year have really stepped up and helped me, as I have made it, and I'm extremely thankful for that. But it costs about, just the entry fees alone is $45,000, and then you got to account about another 20 grand for travel expense. So you're looking at about 65 grand. And it's my rookie year, so a lot of people don't have as much support as I have, so I'm thankful for that. But I've got enough right now to just about cover my entry fees. Now that looks like I'm gonna have to come out of pocket for the travel expenses and stuff at the moment. But definitely been looking for new opportunities, and thankfully got a few new sponsors I'll be happy to announce in the next couple of weeks. And but if there's anybody out there wanting to get their name on the side of a boat, it's going to get a lot of media coverage. Be sure to message me.
All right, Jeff, come on, Kayak Bass Nation. We're about to get us an elite angler.
Send us the information.
Will you fish in a sleeveless jersey and smash waters over your head or something at weigh-ins? We're trying to get that shock and awe factor going.
I don't know. I think I'd have to do something unique. I feel like that was already been used, so I'd have to come up with something different.
All right, we'll mail you a funnel.
Okay.
You have to drink Western Sun out of your weigh-in bag on stage.
No, we won't do that to him.
No.
I'd like to see him be semi-successful.
Here's a serious question from YouTube. I don't know the answer to this. Are there Bass Elite Series groupies?
Yeah. Yeah, they're all right here in this chat, blowing them up with questions all night.
That's right. We got them all cornered right here.
I mean, I've heard rumors of rumors.
But
not. I don't think there's a big group. If there is a group, it's a pretty small one.
Like
I've heard some tales. What was the guy that was on The Bachelor that was a pro? They had him on. Ike had him on and interviewed him one night, and there were some very interesting stories that came out of that one. So I'm sure at some point they did exist. Probably, I would say in like South Alabama, maybe, or North Florida is where you'd find most of them.
A lot of big star jeans and streak blonde hair showing up around there.
Amen, brother. Amen.
You know how that goes. I don't know. Andy just said Byron Velvick. I don't know.
That's him, Byron.
Is he the groupie? Oh, okay.
No. He's the pro. He's the pro. Yeah.
All right. That's
right. I thought it was Byron, but I didn't want to offend my Missile Baits buddy Byron and accuse him of ever having a groupie. So
Hollywood Byron Velvick there.
Yep.
There you go. Let's see. While we still have Cole here, we'll try to get to a few more questions, but we want to start trying to do this giveaway for the A-rigs. So, in honor of Cole, our guest, the magic word is just going to be #Cole Sands in the comments.
Oh.
So put that in the comments, and we will start collecting those comments over here and see how many people we can get in the deal for the triple A-rig stack tonight. So just put Cole Sands, #Cole Sands in the comments, and we'll see if we can draw that.
Cole, while we're doing this, if you share your social media tags so people can follow along your journey here as a pro.
Yeah. Instagram is @Cole Sands, Facebook @Cole Sands Fishing, and then YouTube is @Cole Sands Fishing. So pretty straightforward enough.
There we go. Pretty easy. I threw the YouTube channel on the screen a little bit ago. Like I said, I did some watching because right off the bat next year, like we said earlier, it's like Guntersville, Chickamauga, Kentucky Lake, all, just like every year, all those Tennessee River System lakes are on there. And Cole's got some unbelievable videos on Chickamauga. So get over there and subscribe and check those out.
There's some good days out there, I hear.
Yeah, we're up to 25 entries. There's a lot more people watching than there are entered. So you need to throw that Cole Sands in the comments now. Get you a chance. There's always a chance.
James Darkey from New Zealand is trying to get in on the. Hey, do y'all have A-rigs in New Zealand, Darkey? Tell us the truth.
They call them New Zealand rigs over there.
Dude, I bet he would wreck them with an A-rig in New Zealand. The fish wouldn't know what was happening.
Yeah. Let's see here. We'll get the giveaway tool pulled up. All right, we got nearly 70 people watching, 27 entries. So the odds are in your favor so far. Those 27 that'll put Cole's name in the comments. So #Cole Sands, give you a few more minutes. Yeah. So which tournament this year, as we wait to do this drawing, are you looking forward to the most, Cole? Just the first one? You think you're going to have a weird feeling going to your first Elite Series event?
Yeah.
It's going to feel like another day fishing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I've fished enough tournaments now at this point. I feel like I won't be too rattled. And in those opens, half the Elite Series guys fish them already, it seems like. So I feel like I think I can control my nerves pretty good. But I definitely look forward to the Lake Seminole one. I fished there a little bit in February before, and that place has got them, and it's a grass lake, and it sets up like I like it too. So that might be the one I bomb. I don't know, but that's the one I'm definitely looking forward to most.
For the first couple of years, it was Seminole that held the big bag record, right, Jeff?
Yeah.
The last Hobie BOS on Seminole, we had two guys that were basically just swinging 5-pounders back and forth at each other all day long for 2 days. It was insane. Definitely showed out. It was a February tournament as well.
Good stuff. I'm looking forward to it. All right, we got enough entries. I think we'll throw this on the screen. Drum roll. Here we go.
What if KBN wins it? That'd be cool.
That'd be wild.
That'd be wild. Can we split them?
55 Dag on YouTube. I don't know who that is.
55. I like it. That's an aggressive name strategy there.
55 Dag. You had some good questions tonight as well, sir or ma'am, whatever.
Yeah. So you have to let us know who you are, 55 Dag, to claim your prize.
So find us over on Facebook or email kayakbassnation@gmail.com. We'll get back to you.
The jig is up, so to speak.
The jig is up. Billy's pissed in the comments.
Billy's been pissed.
Yeah. There we go. What a great show, man. We got some knowledge tonight. We just kind of used and abused all your knowledge tonight, Cole. We appreciate you sharing it with us.
Hopefully nobody remembers any of this next spring.
No, what I think is you're an official member of Kayak Bass Nation, even if you're not a kayak tournament guy now. So you just gained a bunch of new fans tonight by being on here.
Awesome. I appreciate y'all having me.
Yeah.
Anytime, man. Congratulations again. I mean, it's been awesome. Obviously, knowing about you and watching your college career, and then, seeing you cap it off by qualifying for the elites. It's awesome. I can't wait to, see where you go next. See you win a classic.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, man. Have a good night.
Take it easy, man.
There we go. Cole Sands. Clap to Cole Sands.
Great.
I'm already a huge fan.
Great dude. He is. He really is a great dude.
Yeah, I'm already a huge fan. Like I said, I watched some of his YouTube videos, and you can just hear the excitement in his voice, man. He enjoys what he's doing, and he's passionate about it, and he's obviously very, very, very intelligent angler. So
pre-fishing for Chick, I was on like one of the same schools where he was running, pulls up, and he's like, Lambert? And I was like, yeah, what's up, man? And he like hands this 12-year-old kid a spinny pole, and he jags like 4.5 pounder. I was like, all right, well, here we go. I'm gonna head on back to the ramp now.
Yeah.
Glad y'all came by.
Yeah, he's got that it factor. I can tell. It's gonna be fun to watch him on the elites. So there we go, man.
He knows.
What a good show. Appreciate everybody in the comments. We had a good sized audience tonight. What was his name? 55 Dag? Dag 55?
55 Dag.
Won the triple stack A rig. So it's a good night. It's a good night for all.
I will tell you, next week, Billy Bowden was very concerned on where BDH was. Next week, spoiler alert, BDH and special guest, goofy cousin of undefeated boat ramp beatdown champion Jeremy Hughes, TOC Queen City champion Joey Randall will be joining us live on the Nation next week. So all you Carolina boys, put on your tights, spike up your hair, tune in next week. We're going to have a good one.
We'll double dip next week. There we go. All right,
you heard it here first. Everybody get out there, lock your kayaks up. Keep an eye on it, all right?
All right. See you, everybody.